Hey, welcome back everybody. Today on my channel, we are going to talk about the 390 Ford FE engine. So let me give you a little background on what happened here. I was contacted by a gentleman by the name of Michael Ryder. Him and his son Eric, they are restoring, he has a 1976 Ford F100 pickup truck that he purchased brand new in 1976. He drove it off the showroom floor. He's actually got his own YouTube channel and a whole big old video on this truck, which is pretty cool. My tripod and my camera right now, as I'm speaking to you, is sitting on the 390 Ford that's out of their truck. I'll show it to you in a minute. The gentleman that owns this truck, Michael is his name, I found out from watching his YouTube channel that he used to drive and operate Robosaurus. What? Are you kidding me? I'm building a motor for the guy that used to drive Robosaurus? Okay, so for those of you that don't know who Robosaurus is, oh my gosh, you have no idea how many memories this brings back. There's so many times. Robosaurus is like a gigantic robot. It was an exhibition thing that breathes fire and picks cars up with its jaws and bites the car in half and drops it down onto the drag strip. If you've never seen Robosaurus, I feel bad for these kids today that have nothing to do except sit around on their phones and laptops all day long. They don't have a real childhood. When I was younger, and it wasn't really when I was a child, but Robosaurus has been around for a lot of years, and I've seen that thing so many times at so many drag race events, and now come to find out, this guy was driving Robosaurus. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how incredibly blown away I am by that. So anyway, this is gonna be cool. He has he has a YouTube channel too. I'll put a link down below so you can check out his YouTube channel, and you can also see the story on this truck. This is, and if you've never seen Robosaurus, man, type in Robosaurus on YouTube or Google it. Check that thing out. It is insane. So I hope you stay tuned. I'm jazzed about this. So he contacted me a few weeks ago about rebuilding this 390, and I thought, yeah, no problem. You know, and it dawned on me, I haven't really done a video series on a 390 Ford rebuild, and I thought, opportunity knocks, right? So the engine was dropped off this afternoon by his son Eric, and I guess it's kind of a family project with him, his daughter, and his son. They drove all the way out back to the Midwest to pick the truck up and trailer it back to Phoenix, Arizona, and I've now got the 390 FE engine in the shop. And so we're going to do a complete build on this, all the way from teardown to complete reassembly. I'm not totally sure if I am going to run this thing here or not. We haven't decided that. But the 390 engine is a big block Ford engine that was, I mean, it's a legendary motor. It's been around. It's actually in the same engine family as the 428 Cobra Jet and the infamous 427 Cobra engine. So it's been around, you know, since Moby Dick was a minnow. But the FE family of engines is it's a very reliable, very powerful family of engines that are actually one of the staples of Ford racing and Ford going all the way back to the late 50s. And so let's take a look at this engine, because the way that this is working out is pretty cool. I may incorporate some of his videos onto my channel and into my video, and he's for sure going to incorporate this build into part of his, because he's doing the whole shebang. It's cool when a father and a son and even a daughter, a family, does a project like this, and they're really into it. So they're really good folks, and I am actually counted a privilege to be able to be in on this build with them, because you know the truck means a lot to him. It's been in there, I mean, he's had it since '76. That's going back a ways. That's 40 some odd years. And so let's take a look at what we got here. It has an aftermarket Edelbrock 4-barrel intake on it, so somebody has definitely been into the engine. Now my understanding is that this engine was rebuilt at one point. So what they have done now in 1976, they have very specific casting numbers on the heads. Well, what we discovered, and I looked at this when he dropped it off, if you look at the casting number here, and I'm not sure how well you can see that, but that is a C4 AE casting, 1964. Now, you might think it's strange that we have 1964 cylinder heads, 1976 engine. But if you know anything about Ford FE engines, it actually makes perfect sense. And let me tell you why. The fact that it has a C4 cast head on it is a very good thing. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. The C4, and I have another video where I talk about FE heads, the C4 AE head is a medium riser head. And what that means is the intake port is much larger than the heads that would have originally come on this 1976 engine. The 1976 head was, we were getting into the smog era, and they had large chambers, and it was kind of a smog type head. So what they've done is this engine's been rebuilt obviously at some point, and they've taken the original heads off and they put the C4 heads on, which is a much better performing heads. These heads are capable of making a lot more power than the heads that were on this engine in 1976. So that's not, like I said, a bad thing. It's a really good thing. We got a great start with these heads. These heads are fantastic. So apparently whoever went through this engine before was a little bit, had a little bit of understanding about FE heads and so forth, and they put a really good set of performing heads on. That Eric and I talked about is that he started to take the bolts out of the exhaust, and I told him, just stop right there, don't pull them out. One of the things you find about the FE heads is these exhaust bolts down here on the head, because it has this big exhaust flange out here, you will there's a lot of heat and so forth out here, and this area is a little thin. These bolts, many of them will break off when you try to take them out. In fact, I've rarely seen a 390 head that didn't have broken exhaust bolts in it. But I told him no worries, we'll take care of that. It's not a big issue. Overall, the engine looks pretty clean. Now, it has been sitting for a long time, but like I told him earlier today, as long as the engine is covered up, and this one was, and doesn't get, you know, a lot of rainwater or a rat's nest or something in it, then they really don't wear out when they're sitting. So the engine actually looks very clean inside. So this, I mean, of course it's dirty on the outside, but so this will probably, my guesstimation is that this is going to be a really good builder. And it does, another thing is that it rotates, which is really good. I haven't had a chance to look at the block casting number yet. I would assume that the block is the 76 block, and it has that casting number on it. So we're hoping that they didn't bore this thing 60 over or something crazy like that. But yeah, overall, it looks pretty good. So for those of you that are into the Ford FE engines, and even if you're not into the Ford FE engines, I've done actually quite a few 390, 352, 390, 360 engines in the past, but I've never actually done a video series on it. So it's actually a really cool engine to build. It has a skirted block, very similar to the old Y block. So it has a big, heavy skirt on the bottom of the block, and some of the blocks have more reinforcing on the webbing and so forth. So we'll have to see what we're working with here. But so stay tuned. I hope you guys are jazzed about this. I'm excited, and Michael and Eric, I actually made this introductory video kind of for you guys. Eric dropped this off today, and he left, and I thought, dang it, because he had a camera and he was filming, and and I thought, man, I should have had my camera out. I should have got him backing up into my place here and unloading the motor, but missed opportunities. So this is going to be a great build. I'm excited about it. I have always had a very deep appreciation for these FE motors. And that goes all the way back to my early days in machine shop business. The guy, the machinist that was he was a journeyman machinist at the time when I got into the machine shop business at about age 19, which was, well, it was a long time ago. I won't put a number on it, but it was a long time ago. So he was a big Ford FE nut, and actually one of the first valve jobs I ever did as a new machinist with him training me was on a set of 390 FE heads. And so I kind of cut my teeth on these things. We did a bunch of these motors in the shop, and so I have a little bit of sentimentality toward this engine. It goes, this engine really brings me back to, my early days as a machinist, because, we did a bunch of this stuff, and so it's going to be good. I'm excited about it, and we're going to walk you through it. There's going to be a lot of detail in this build, specifically because that's what they're looking for. This isn't a case where a customer brought me a motor and I said, you know what, I think I'll make a video on it, and just kind of, put in there whatever I want. This video is actually a documentation of this build that is going to go along with their documentation of the truck being built. So I hope you guys understand that. There's going to be some stuff in here that might be a little tedious and detailed, and so just bear with it, because this is actually at the request of the customer. He's really wanting to get a detailed documentation of the build, and I have no problem with that. I actually enjoy doing that. That's kind of stuff's cool. Some of the stuff on a lot of videos I cut out because frankly, people just think it's boring. So I hope you're jazzed about this, and make sure you subscribe to my channel and go to my Patreon site down here and support me. I'm looking for people to support this channel so we can do some really cool stuff in the future. I got a bunch of giveaways coming. We're getting very close to the $500 mark on the Patreon site, and I'm going to be giving away that welding helmet. So one of you patrons is going to win it as soon as we hit 500. So I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for more of these. The next video, I am going to be tearing this baby down and doing a thorough and complete inspection on it. If you're interested in maybe seeing what the aspects of disassembling an FE motor is, I'm going to walk through every little detail of disassembly of this motor. And so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you very soon, I promise.